In the small town of Gambier, Ohio, the prestigious Kenyon College is located. In the fall of 2000, the campus was filled with typical student life. Lectures, sporting events, and parties created an atmosphere of carefree optimism. However, no one could have predicted that this idyll would soon be disrupted by an event that would shake not only the college, but the entire community. The evening of November 2nd, 2000, was no different from others. Students were returning from classes, preparing for upcoming exams, or gathering at local establishments. Among them was 20-year-old Emily Murray, who worked at the popular student restaurant Pirates Cove. No one could have foreseen that this night would become a turning point in the lives of many people and forever change the face of Kenyon College. Emily Murray was born on February 19, 1980 in Sleepy Hollow, New York, but spent most of her life in Shaker Heights, Ohio. She grew up in a loving family, where an atmosphere of support and mutual understanding prevailed. Her father, Tom Murray, held the position of director of the Center for Biomedical Ethics at Case Western Reserve University, which allowed the family to lead a comfortable life. From early childhood, Emily showed remarkable abilities and a deep interest in the world around her. She was a gifted student who not only excelled in her studies but was also actively involved in charity work. Even at the age of 7, the little girl created business cards offering her services for household chores and donated the money she earned to charity. Religion played an important role in Emily's life. She was a deeply devout Christian and actively participated in the life of the Episcopal Church. Her faith was manifested not only in words, but in actions. Emily often took part in charity trips and volunteer projects. After entering Kenyon College, Emily chose philosophy as her major subject. Her ultimate goal was to become an Episcopal priest. In the fall of 2000, at the beginning of her 3rd year of study, she seemed confident in her future and full of enthusiasm about her chosen path. However, like many young people, Emily had her internal struggles. She periodically suffered from depression, which was associated with the intense schedule of study and work. Despite this, Emily always found the strength to keep moving forward, relying on the support of family and friends. November 2nd, 2000 began for Emily Murray as an ordinary day. She attended classes at Kenyon College, chatted with friends, and prepared for her last shift at the Pirates Cove restaurant. This establishment, located near the campus, was a popular spot among students, known for its casual atmosphere and late hours of operation. Emily had decided to quit her job to focus on her studies, and this shift was to be her last. Colleagues, knowing this, decided to throw a small farewell celebration for her. Throughout the evening, Emily's friends and acquaintances came to the restaurant to wish her well. According to staff accounts, Emily's shift proceeded as usual. She served customers, chatted with colleagues, and performed her duties. No one noticed anything unusual in her behavior or mood. At 2 o'clock in the morning on November 3rd, the Pirates Cove closed and visitors began to disperse. Emily and several other employees stayed behind to clean up and close the establishment. Olivia Healy, Emily's colleague and friend, later said that she last saw her around 3 o'clock when they split up to perform different cleaning tasks. Greg McKnight, the restaurant's cook, confirmed that Emily was in the establishment until about 3 o'clock. According to him, all employees finished their duties around this time and went home. These were the last known moments of Emily's presence at the Pirates Cove. What happened after Emily left the restaurant remains unknown. She was supposed to return to her dormitory on campus, but never arrived there. Her green Subaru Outback also disappeared, which initially didn't raise particular suspicions, as it was assumed she might have driven somewhere. The first hours after Emily's disappearance went unnoticed. Her roommates, waking up in the morning and not finding Emily, weren't initially worried, assuming she might have stayed with friends or left early in the morning. Concern about Emily's absence began to grow later that day, November 3rd. Her roommates, Megan and Kate, became worried when Emily didn't show up for a planned party, for which she had specially bought a blender a few days ago. This was so uncharacteristic of her that the girls decided to contact campus police. Around midnight, Emily's parents, Tom and Cynthia Murray, received a disturbing call from their older daughter, who reported Emily's disappearance. Without wasting time, they set off from New York to Ohio, arriving at Kenyon College a few hours later. The initial reaction of law enforcement was quite restrained. Representatives of the Knox County Sheriff's Office suggested that Emily might have spontaneously gone on a vacation, possibly to Cancun, and would soon return. They argued that such cases often happen among young people. However, the Murray family and Emily's friends insisted that such behavior was absolutely not in character for her. They emphasized that Emily always kept in touch with her family, calling or sending emails every day. Moreover, important personal belongings remained in her room, including her wallet with documents and bank cards. When it became clear that Emily's disappearance was not a usual case, the Kenyon College community and the town of Gambier quickly mobilized. Dozens of volunteers, including students, faculty, and local residents, joined the search. Search groups combed the campus area and surrounding districts, hoping to find any clues. Flyers with Emily's photo and information about her disappearance were posted all over the town and distributed in neighboring settlements. Local media actively covered the situation, which helped to draw public attention to the case. Social networks and internet forums became platforms for information exchange and coordination of volunteer efforts. Community support proved invaluable not only in the practical aspect of the search, but also in moral support for the Murray family. Emily's friends and classmates organized prayer gatherings and support actions, demonstrating unity and compassion. As the case developed, the official investigation began to gain momentum. Detectives focused their attention on the Pirates Cove, Emily's last known location. They conducted thorough interviews with all employees and visitors who were present at the restaurant on the night of the disappearance. Investigators paid particular attention to the restaurant staff. Among them were David Cale, a driver and cashier, and David Yoakum, who had previously worked at the establishment. Cale was checked due to rumors about his possible feelings for Emily, but his alibi was confirmed. He left the restaurant early to attend a concert. Yoakum attracted attention due to a history of inappropriate behavior with female colleagues, but it turned out he wasn't at the restaurant on the night of Emily's disappearance. Greg McKnight, the restaurant's cook, was also questioned. He claimed to have seen Emily finish her shift around 3 a.m, but couldn't provide additional information about her plans or behavior. Investigators also analyzed Emily's phone calls and messages from the last few days before her disappearance, looking for any unusual contacts or changes in her routine. They checked surveillance camera records in the campus area and adjacent streets, hoping to find images of Emily or her car. As the investigation dragged on, various theories and speculations about Emily's fate began to emerge. Rumors and assumptions spread throughout the campus and local community. Some believed that Emily might have voluntarily left home due to stress or personal problems. This theory was supported by information about her previous episodes of depression. Others suggested the possibility of an accident, especially considering the disappearance of her car. More disturbing theories included the possibility of kidnapping or a violent crime. These assumptions heightened fear among students, especially women, and led to increased security measures on campus. The college administration responded to the situation by increasing patrols of the territory and recommending students move in groups, especially at night. An escort system was also introduced for students who needed safe accompaniment within the campus. These events significantly affected the atmosphere at Kenyon College. The sense of safety that previously prevailed in this small academic town was disrupted, and students became more cautious and vigilant. With each day that Emily remained missing, hope for her safe return gradually faded. For the Murray family, this was a period of unspeakable stress and emotional suffering. Tom and Cynthia Murray, Emily's parents, remained in Ohio, coordinating the search and maintaining constant contact with law enforcement. The family's emotional state was extremely tense. They couldn't eat normally, sleep, or continue their daily lives. Every phone call, every knock on the door caused them a mixture of hope and fear. Was this finally news about Emily? Emily's friends and classmates were also going through difficult times. Many felt a sense of guilt, thinking that maybe they could have done something to prevent her disappearance. The atmosphere on campus was gloomy, with a constant reminder of Emily's absence in the form of flyers with her photo posted everywhere. The investigation continued, but there were no significant breakthroughs. Investigators expanded the search area, checking adjacent counties and even turning to the FBI and the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation for help. However, despite all efforts, no substantial leads could be found. The breakthrough in the case came unexpectedly and in the most unexpected place. On December 9th, 2000, more than a month after Emily's disappearance, two Vinton County Sheriff's deputies arrived at a remote trailer park near the small town of Ray. Their task was to serve court documents in connection with a recent theft and trespassing case. Upon arrival, the officers initially thought their visit would be futile. The trailer looked abandoned and seemed to have been deserted for some time. However, as they were about to leave, their attention was drawn to a car hidden behind the trailer. It was a green Subaru Outback, the same car that belonged to the missing Emily Murray. A check of the license plates confirmed their suspicions. The officers immediately reported their find to the detectives handling Emily's case. It turned out that the trailer belonged to Gregory McKnight, the same cook from the Pirates Cove, who was one of the last to see Emily alive. This accidental discovery became a turning point in the investigation, opening a new and disturbing direction in the search for the missing student. After the discovery of Emily's car, investigators quickly obtained a warrant to search Gregory McKnight's trailer. When an officer entered through the window, he was immediately struck by a strong smell of decomposition. Further inspection of the premises revealed traces of blood in various places, with a large stain in the living room being particularly noticeable. The most horrifying discovery awaited investigators in the bedroom. There, wrapped in a carpet, they found Emily Murray's body. A subsequent autopsy determined that the cause of death was a single-contact gunshot wound to the right side of the head. This tragic discovery put an end to 36 days of painful uncertainty for the Murray family and the Kenyon College community. News of Emily's death spread quickly, causing shock and grief among all who knew her. Gregory McKnight was immediately arrested and brought in for questioning. He was reluctant, giving short and evasive answers. When investigators presented him with the known facts, McKnight ended the conversation and asked for a lawyer. The investigation into Gregory McKnight's past revealed a disturbing picture. Born on November 14, 1976, McKnight grew up in a troubled family. In 1992, at the age of just 15, he was convicted of murdering a man from Columbus during a robbery. McKnight served his sentence in a juvenile correctional facility and was released after 5 or 6 years. Sources differ on the exact term. After his release, he married Kathy, a former employee of the correctional facility where he had served his sentence. In October 2000, McKnight started working as a cook at the Pirates Cove. His colleagues described him as quiet and reserved, but capable of sudden outbursts of anger. Some employees remembered that McKnight sometimes showed inappropriate attention to female colleagues and customers. This information led investigators to consider the possibility that they were dealing not just with a murderer, but with a potential serial offender. This assumption soon received horrifying confirmation. During a thorough search of the area around McKnight's trailer, investigators made another shocking discovery. Human bones were found in a concrete water tank, partially buried in the ground. Further searches revealed additional remains in the basement and in garbage bags scattered around the property. The identification of these remains led to the uncovering of another disappearance, that of 20-year-old Gregory Julius from Chillicothe, who had gone missing 6 months earlier. Dana Bostic, Julius's girlfriend, reported that she had last seen him on May 12th when he went to a party at Ohio State University with a friend, Gregory McKnight. This connection between the two crimes significantly strengthened the case against McKnight. Investigators found that McKnight had sold the red Mazda he was using at the time of Julius's disappearance almost immediately after the incident. Analysis of the car revealed traces of Julius's blood under the carpet on the back seat. With 2 victims found on his property, Gregory McKnight became the prime suspect in both murders. The prosecution began thorough preparation for the trial, gathering all possible evidence. Forensic experts conducted a detailed analysis of the crime scene, collecting DNA samples, ballistic evidence, and other physical traces. Fingerprints found in the trailer were matched with McKnight's fingerprints. Prosecutors put forward a theory about McKnight's motives. They suggested that he might have secretly harbored feelings for Emily, and upon learning of her resignation from the Pirates Cove, decided to act. Regarding Julius, the motive remained less clear, but investigators suggested it could have been the result of an argument or a chance encounter. McKnight's defense faced a difficult task. Given the weight of the evidence, they focused on attempts to discredit the investigation methods and cast doubt on the reliability of some evidence. The public closely followed the development of the case. Media coverage was intense, often focusing on the contrast between the innocence of the victims and the brutality of the crimes. This sparked wide debates about safety on college campuses and the effectiveness of the criminal rehabilitation system. The trial of Gregory McKnight began in 2002 and attracted significant public attention. The prosecution presented compelling evidence, including physical evidence from the crime scene, forensic results, and testimony from numerous witnesses. Key points of the prosecution were DNA evidence linking McKnight to the bodies of both victims, ballistic evidence pointing to a weapon belonging to McKnight, testimony from Pirates Cove employees about McKnight's behavior on the night of Emily's disappearance, evidence related to the sale of the car after Gregory Julius's disappearance. McKnight's defense tried to cast doubt on the reliability of some evidence and the methods of conducting the investigation. They also attempted to focus attention on the defendant's mental state, hinting at possible mental disorders. One of the most emotional moments of the trial was the testimony of the Murray family. Tom and Cynthia Murray spoke about their daughter, her dreams and plans for the future, which were so cruelly interrupted. After lengthy deliberations, the jury reached a verdict. Gregory McKnight was found guilty of first-degree murder of Emily Murray, first-degree murder of Gregory Julius, as well as kidnapping and robbery. The judge faced a difficult decision regarding the sentence. The prosecution insisted on the death penalty, arguing the severity of the crimes and the presence of multiple victims. The defense asked for a mitigation of punishment, citing McKnight's difficult childhood and possible mental problems. Unexpectedly for many, the Murray family spoke out against the death penalty for McKnight. Tom and Cynthia Murray, guided by their religious beliefs and knowing Emily's views on this issue, asked the court to spare the life of their daughter's murderer. They stated, Emily would consider it a tragedy and an abomination if another human life were taken in her name. Despite the Murray family's plea, the judge still sentenced McKnight to death for the murder of Emily. For the murder of Gregory Julius, he received life imprisonment. Additional terms were imposed for kidnapping and robbery. This sentence elicited mixed reactions in society, provoking debates about the effectiveness and ethics of the death penalty. The court's decision to impose the death penalty on Gregory McKnight, despite the Murray family's plea for mercy, sparked intense debates in society. This situation highlighted a complex ethical question. Can the state impose a death sentence when even the victim's family opposes it? The Murray family's position was based on their deep religious convictions and commitment to the principles of non-violence. They believed that Emily, with her strong Christian faith and aspiration for mercy, would not have approved of such punishment. This stance evoked both admiration and criticism in society. Supporters of the death penalty argued their decision by the necessity of fair retribution for cruel crimes and protecting society from dangerous criminals. They pointed to the severity of McKnight's crimes and his previous conviction for murder. Opponents of the death penalty, in turn, used this case as an example that even in the most severe cases, there are alternatives to execution. They emphasized the possibility of rehabilitation and the importance of preserving human life, regardless of circumstances. The tragic death of Emily Murray had a profound and long-lasting impact on Kenyon College and society as a whole. The college implemented a series of changes in the campus security system, including enhanced patrolling, improved lighting, and an expanded emergency communication system. A tree was planted on campus in honor of Emily, which became a place for reflection and honoring her memory. Every year on November 2nd, the day of her disappearance, and February 19th, her birthday, memorial events are held. The Murray family, despite the unspeakable pain of loss, found the strength to continue living and maintain Emily's memory. They established the Emily Murray Scholarship Fund for students who share her values and aspiration for community service. Emily's story became a catalyst for discussing student safety issues, especially for women, on campuses across the country. Her tragedy led to a reassessment of safety policies and procedures in many educational institutions. After the death sentence was handed down to Gregory McKnight, a lengthy appeals process began. His lawyers challenged the verdict on various grounds, from procedural violations to the constitutionality of the death penalty. One of the key arguments of the defense was that Vinton County, the poorest in Ohio, did not have sufficient resources to conduct a fair trial in a case with a possible death sentence. This issue even led to a temporary overturning of the death sentence by a lower court judge, but the decision was later reversed by a higher court. McKnight's appeals went through various instances, including the Ohio Supreme Court. At each stage, the sentence was confirmed, but the process dragged on for years, which is typical for death penalty cases in the United States. In 2020, new defense arguments emerged. McKnight's lawyers claimed that he did not receive a fair trial due to racial bias. They alleged possible use of racist language by jurors during verdict discussions, which, if proven, could lead to a retrial. The Emily Murray case became a turning point in discussions about student safety, especially in small colleges and university towns. The tragedy forced many educational institutions to review their safety policies and procedures. Kenyon College significantly strengthened its security measures. Additional surveillance cameras were installed, campus lighting was improved, and security staff was expanded. An emergency notification system was also implemented, and regular safety training sessions were conducted for students and staff. Other colleges and universities across the country also took note of the lessons from this tragedy. Many institutions introduced or expanded programs for escorting students at night, increased access control to dormitories and academic buildings. The case also raised questions about employers' responsibility for background checks on their employees, especially those working in places popular among students. Some institutions began to require more thorough background checks during the hiring process.